Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock, and Dee Dee Woodson. We got ourselves a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about here tonight. We got Smackdown Live, we got Full Gear, and then myself, Michael Bullock, and Anthony will briefly go rapid fire on the NFL on week 9 so that we free ourselves this weekend because Full Gear is tomorrow and we do not want to get ourselves involved in that. So, with that said, let's just try to do this as quickly and as streamlined as possible so that we can get out of here at a reasonable hour. With that said, we started off with SmackDown Live as always, and um, we started it off with the women's title matchup. That's right, the women's title on the line. SmackDown Women's Champion and new champion Sasha Banks goes up against the former champion Bayley, winner of the bout, in 18 minutes and 20 seconds, and still the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks, she successfully defends the championship. What a way to start the show! Giving us a home run at the jump. 3 3/4 to near 4 stars for this incredible championship match. Anthony Floyo, why don't you take it over for a minute? It's yours.
Yeah, I'll even go as far as to say this was the fight of the night. If I'm going to be honest with you, 3 3/4 to 4 stars. I 100% agree with MF's rating. I mean, the first half hour of the show just flew by like that, and it was because of this bout right here. And I don't know if MF mentioned anything about a time of the fall, but I know it had to be a substantial time.
1820 officially.
That's what you got. Okay. So 1820. And yeah, this was all about Sasha successfully retaining her title. To do that, she would have to overcome the challenge of a very game Bayley, not to mention attempts at cheating and the potential humiliation of succumbing to her own finisher. And she did, proving gritty and resilient as she fought from underneath and pulled off the win. The interjection of Carmella into the title picture is certainly an interesting choice because it feels like there is still some mileage left in the Banks and Bayley feud. Perhaps, though, WWE will hold off on any further chapters as not to overexpose the program. Given its tendency to beat certain feuds into the ground, it is a sound choice. If nothing else, it provides a fresh match that fans have not seen before while showcasing this new incarnation of Carmella, which I absolutely love. So there's really nothing more to say on this. 3 3/4 to 4, fight of the night, no doubt about it. Great way to start off. So nothing more to say. Phenom, Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary SmackDown chats, and one other thing that made this even better, and you know where I'm going with this, Bullock. Our favorite referee.
Yep, Mr. Danilo Fabio.
And his
Yeah,
pompadour.
what can you say? This was definitely another really good match when it comes to Sasha Banks and Bayley. Going into this, I mean, I did have concerns, obviously, because of the history with Sasha Banks failing to defend her title. I mean, we've seen it before on Monday Night Raw. When she was on Raw, I should say. But but I was hoping to be proven wrong, and this is the one time I was happy I was wrong. Sasha finally is successfully in defending her title, but yeah, a feud with Carmella, that's going to be something to definitely keep an eye on. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. 3 3/4 to 4 stars, fight of the night, hands down. There's nothing more to say. BB Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating, and it is about freaking time that Sasha pulls off a win in successfully defeating her challenger after a pay per view where she wins the title. So yeah, congrats to Sasha. Great match. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. Fletch, if you're back, it's yours.
Yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So, um, we're just gonna dive right on in. And the next thing that we had, well, after all that, then there was a thing with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, and of course Kevin Owens because of Team Survivor Series. And then there was a match between Rey Mysterio versus King Corbin, where the winner joins Team Smackdown for the Survivor Series, winner of the bout, in 15 minutes and 35 seconds, and joining Team Smackdown, Baron Corbin. Son of a bitch. All right. This is the Lana moment for Team Raw on the women's side for Raw.
He is the weakest link. Goodbye.
This is not a good moment for SmackDown because now we got Corbin on the squad with Jey Uso, with Kevin Owens. This already spells disaster for Team SmackDown. Anthony, you already chest-eye or cat-like grinned over this.
Jesse Ventura laugh, baby.
Go ahead. Talk about the match.
Oh, calm down, Tone. Calm down. We got a show to do here. You got to be professional here. Oh my. All right. Do my best here, even though I'm in a very good mood because of this. But I would have to give this about 3 to 3.25 stars. I mean, way too much stuff outside. I mean, the Uso Roman Reigns stuff was fantastic though, but I'll get into that. But as far as this goes, not nearly as awesome as the never-ending nonsense between the Mysterios, Murphy, and Seth Rollins. That is really a program that needs to go the way of the dinosaurs. It should have 3 months ago. But here we are begging for WWE to make like old Yeller and put it out of its misery, for goodness sakes. Until that happens, none of the performers involved will be utilized to their fullest extent. That Mysterio versus Corbin was not nearly as good as one would have thought, primarily due to the booking of the match. Did not help matters. And MF, I mean, this is a bad night. This is a nightmare for you, man. I mean, I know you were channeling your inner Michael Cole out of 2005 and 2006 and saying, come on, Ray, and all that. But no way. So Corbin joins the squad, and Raw's chances of winning this match just went from punchers to realistic, just like with Notre Dame and Clemson tomorrow night. But anyways, 3 to 3.25 stars. I think that's the best I can go. I mean, way too much extracurricular activity on the outside with Rollins and Murphy and the Mysterios and Dominic and all that. So, okay match though. It was a solid fight though. So I'll say that. So nothing more to say on this. Michael Bullock, I mean, we talked about this a lot during our SmackDown chat. We were talking about how Michael Cole used to do the "Come on, Ray" and all that good stuff. We were saying "Come on, Ray" for MF, but unfortunately, like the Stones sang all those years ago, you can't always get what you want, big boy. Sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't always get what you want. I mean, as soon as I saw Corbin get the win, I'm like, Fletch is probably not a happy camper right now to have this piece of crap on his team. I mean, come on, guys. You really think Corbin's a team player when it comes to SmackDown? I don't think so. Florio doesn't think so.
And Bullock, you said it during our SmackDown chat. You even brought up the name of the late, great Bad News Brown. You mentioned him. Let me tell you something, Billy Sharecroppers.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of reminds me of that. I mean, you really think he's a team player? Or I don't think so.
Egomaniac.
Yeah, he only cares about himself. So SmackDown's chances not looking good for Survivor Series. It was still a good match. I'll give it 3 stars, but I mean, there's one person you could thank for Mysterio's downfall. It was his own daughter, Aaliyah, and I'm sure Fletch is probably was sitting there like, Aaliyah, what are you doing? You just cost your father the match. I mean, it was just this ongoing drama. I agree with Florio. I mean, it's at the point of go away. I mean, and unfortunately, WWE is going to continue to shove this right down our throats until who knows when. So that's my only nitpick of this. Other than that, I mean, it was a fine match. It's just all the other extracurricular activity was trifling unnecessary. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Dee Whitson, it's yours.
Do we really need the BS on the outside of the ring? I mean, give me a freaking break. First, you got Seth Rollins sneaking out there. Then you have
Yeah.
Murphy and Aaliyah. We don't need the BS.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Aaliyah might have had something to do with the costing of Ray, but you have to give just as much credit to Seth and Murphy as you do that child. I mean, give me a freaking break. We didn't need the 3 of them out there. That's just a bunch of BS. I mean, yeah, the match was going great before you bring out this so-called glorified, I'm not even going to say what they call him. I mean, this self-proclaimed crap of his. I mean, give me a freaking break. I'm done with this Seth Rollins crap, and I'm definitely done with this freaking storyline, which they're still throwing in our face. I'm not even going to rate the match because there's just too much BS that got involved in it. And, I mean, it was stupid. You didn't need all these freaking people out here when you're having this match. And this drama is just, I mean, you're getting back into the old soap opera crap that we all complained about before. They started this whole women's evolution stuff and everything. I mean, come on. Can we at least have something a little more original and not go 3 steps backwards after we've taken all these steps forward? Please. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I don't know really what to say at this point. Rey Mysterio would have been a great member on Team SmackDown, and now we got to deal with Corbin. And then on top of that, you got the storyline between Rollins, Murphy, and Aaliyah with the Mysterios. Maybe it was a good thing to keep them separate, if they can keep them separated. I don't know. I really got nothing more to add on that. So, next up we had was a triple threat match that would determine a member for the Women's SmackDown Survivor Series squad. It was Ruby Riott, Zelina Vega, and Natalya. Winner of the bout in 3 minutes and 10 seconds is Ruby Riott. Ruby goes through. So it's now Ruby Riott along with Bianca Belair. Now there is a rumor that maybe they've split it up that this little reunion between the Riot Squad might be done. We don't know. But we got 2 pretty good proven wrestlers, Michael Bullock on SmackDown, Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair. I'm liking the concept, or I'm liking the team coming together. I wonder how they're gonna fill the final 3 slots, though. I'm a little concerned about the final 3, but we got 2 pesky little underdogs that are definitely ready to fight.
And I'll tell you this, Fletch. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think SmackDown, the women's team on SmackDown, have a better chance than the men do on than the SmackDown men's team does. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think I'm still holding out because I want to see what the final three, who the final three girls are going to be. But I love Ruby Riot. I love Bianca Belair. I like the team. I like the makeup of the team, and I think they are more right now. Ruby and Bianca will probably be more unified than Team Raw right now. They are more
and
unified than Team Raw.
and you want to know what I think also helped? Maybe the new haircut of Ruby Riot. I mean,
I
I
know
noticed it.
Floria was talking about that earlier. I
Oh,
heard,
he
I
was.
heard,
Oh,
I heard, I
he
heard
was
there was a
gushing.
rumor about that.
Oh, he was. I can tell you, Fletch. He was gushing all over it when we were doing our SmackDown chat. He was gushing over the new haircut of Ruby Riot. I
You
All
mean,
damn
right.
right. You damn right.
yeah, yeah. That's what he was like there. So, you know what? I'll just say it. 1 star for the effort. So that's all I'm gonna say on it. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree about 1 star. It was interesting. They did have a lot of falls. They did, fairly well for it being a triple threat. But yeah, I'll go with you guys. I like Ruby's new haircut. I think the new look looks good on her, and uh, this her getting on this team, that's great. I mean, you have the EST of WWE, and now the leader of the Riot Squad. I mean, I think this is going to be a good boost for both of them. Being on this team, and I can't wait to see who else pops up on this team to see what we're going to end up having in the end to face off. So, not much more I'm going to add to Shirts Clutch.
We got two strong women on SmackDown. We got two very strong women, and the thing is, they're quick, they're agile, they're not powerhouses. So obviously, quick and speed is gonna be the name of the game. But they can definitely run the table. They can go. They can be. They're deceptively strong, especially Bianca Belair. I mean, she could definitely do that. So, I mean, I like the SmackDown squad. I like what they bring to the table. So, like I said, I'm a little apprehensive to see who the final three are going to be. But right now, I'm happy with Team SmackDown. I like the makeup. I love the makeup of the squad. With Bianca Belair, with Ruby Riot. I mean, these are two proven commodities on the SmackDown squad. We got ourselves a good squad going. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. Anthony, it's yours. I even though it was a 1 star match, I think out of the three that were out there, we got the best one.
Certainly. And yes, all kidding aside, Bullock was absolutely right. I mean, yes, I was certainly gushing over Ruby's haircut there. I mean, the old heart eye emoji definitely struck. No doubt about that. I had the hearts in the eyes. No doubt about that. Very nice. 1 star match. I definitely agree. It was far too rushed to be any good, to feature any sort of story or to properly showcase any of the three women involved. And it's a damn shame, too, because Ruby Riott and Zelina Vega could have benefited from extended in-ring time on their new home. But instead, it was the victim of time constraints and did little to help anyone involved. Worst fight of the night, but 1 star. But hey, MF, I mean, Bullock and I were talking about it. I mean, we were like, he's going to be pissed about Corbin, and no big surprise you were. And you're like, you know what? I think he might be okay with this. And sure enough, you're more than okay with it. So Bianca and Ruby, we got 3 spots left, and we'll just have to wait and see. So got a good couple too there, MF. So we'll get more into that in a couple weeks. But for right now, 1 star, worst fight of the night. Let's move on.
Next up, we had was Seth Rollins versus Otis. Winner of the match would join Team SmackDown for the Survivor Series squad. The winner of the bout in 4 minutes and 30 seconds, Seth Rollins goes through. He joins Team SmackDown. Now the fun begins. Rollins, Uso, Owens, Corbin. I mean, That okay. Corbin's the weak link. We all agree with that. But Owens, Uso, and Rollins, I mean, that is pretty good of a three to have. Uso's rising. His stock has been rising for a few months, especially during his rivalry with Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens coming back to SmackDown after being on Monday Night Raw, being thrusted into the Survivor Series squad, and the way he's been playing, especially after his interaction dealing with the Fiend. You don't know what his mindset is, but it's a more aggressive Owens. Seth Rollins, we already can call him one of the top guys on SmackDown, and I called him my frontline soldier, and now he gets to be that frontline soldier. Corbin, alright, veteran guy who's probably going to be an egomaniac. He's going to be the weak link. He's going to drag us down. I can all agree with that. There's only one spot left. We don't know who that final spot's going to go. And yes, I know a lot of people are angry because Otis got robbed because Tucker stuck his nose where it didn't belong. But this is storyline progression. This is what we were expected. Just like with the Mysterio thing and the whole 9 yards, Murphy got involved. Murphy jumped on the apron, and we didn't know what Murphy's mindset is. It doesn't seem like he's aligned with to me, actually, it doesn't seem like he's aligned with Seth Rollins. It looks like he wants to go rogue. It seems like basically he's playing both sides of the fence here. He's playing the Mysterio fence for Aaliyah. He's playing the Rollins fence just to maybe the old saying, keep your friends close but your enemies closer. That's what I'm getting with Murphy. Because it's clear. He's trying to appease the Mysterios any way he can for Aaliyah's sake. When it comes to Rollins, maybe dangling the carrot, doing what he's doing with Rollins, making him convinced like you're still one of me, but when that moment comes, he's gonna flip the switch and Rollins, you're screwed. You're a dead man, in my mind. So we'll see what happens, but please do not get involved in Survivor Series. I want to win this freaking war with Raw. So that's the only thing I'm saying. Rollins is a part of the team. Murphy, Mysterio, stay the F out of this situation. Do not get involved. Alright? This was an alright fight. Fun little sprint like we always say. I could give this about 2. Anthony, it's yours.
And if I recall correctly, ever since they started this whole Raw versus SmackDown thing, SmackDown's never come out on top.
No.
I don't believe they have. I think Raw's won every time.
They lost the first year 4-3. The second year was literally a wipeout. It was like a 6-1 wipeout.
Mm-hmm.
Third year was the NXT, and we both lost. NXT won that.
Yes, they did.
So NXT,
2016, 2016 as well, and Raw won that like 3-2 or 4-2 or something like that. But still, Raw won. But you did win the men's match, which was the most important. So
yeah, that was the biggest one we needed.
Yeah, back then in 2016, and then of course all those champion matches. I mean, SmackDown's has a great track record with those. So you'll have to wait and see for that. But no, I mean, I know you're talking about Rollins being the frontline soldier of this team, but to be honest, MF, your real frontline soldier is your tribal chief. That's who that is. So
one problem, he's not in the Survivor Series squad fight. He's got to fight Randy Orton.
As of now, that could change, but then again, how many times have we seen that change over the years on TVs? But anywho, 2 stars, I agree. The Rollins, Murphy, Mysterio storyline has become so unfocused, messy, and uninteresting at this point that WWE creative really needs to bring it to an end before it risks the overness of everyone involved. It is not working. It ran its course a quarter of a year ago, And the one silver lining, Dominic's in-ring introduction, has been watered down by WWE's unflinching exposure of the storyline. And now Otis has gotten himself all caught up in things as he dropped the match here and appears directionless after a hot start to this year. So that's really all there is to say on this. So it's a solid 2 stars. But I know, MF, I know what you're thinking. I'm like, could you imagine if Ray had been on this team with Seth, Owens, and Uso? Oh my goodness. That would be the perfect 4 to counteract Raw. Absolutely. But you got a humongous weakest link. Not just a weak link, but the weakest link in King Bleakface, as Bullock and I call him during our SmackDown chats. But it is what it is. But solid 2 stars, though. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, 3 out of 4 ain't bad for MF and Team SmackDown now that Rollins has made it.
Oh yeah, and you couldn't have had a better representative than Seth Rollins over for SmackDown. So yeah, a solid 2 stars for me as well because I mean it was fine for what it was, but once again, so much interference really just took away from it. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I'm just gonna give this to D.D. Woodson.
This falls in the same line as the last one. I mean, give me a break. Why do we have all these people coming out interrupting the match? I mean, and now we don't even know what the heck Murphy's doing. If he's the lone wolf, if he's with Aaliyah, if he's with Seth. I mean, and here he is in the back. Trust me. It's kind of hard to trust a snake in the grass, and this is kind of what he's becoming. And I don't know what to think about him, but I mean, we really did not need him out there. I mean, the match was going great until you have to throw in more interference, and that just ruins everything. So I'll agree with you guys on the rating, but to me, I think that this is really a big downer, at least for this particular show, having all this interference and throwing in all these freaking storylines in the middle of this. So yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. The Team SmackDown, yeah, it's shaping up great, except for the idiot that's in there. But other than that, I mean, they need to stop throwing in the freaking interference. It's going to ruin SmackDown. It's going to draw it down. So it's yours, Fletch.
Main event of the evening was Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens. Jey Uso wins the match in 11 minutes and 25 seconds. Anthony Florio, you lead off on the main event of the evening.
How much was that again? 11.25?
That's right, 11.25.
That's what I thought. Okay. I would probably say here this was maybe second best fight of the night here. I could probably give this about 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. The best storyline in WWE continues to get better, thanks in part to Jey Uso's willingness to embrace the dark side by becoming everything he fought his cousin to avoid. He is becoming more ruthless, more aggressive, and more willing to break any and all rules if it means winning a match and propping up the family. Roman Reigns' sign of acceptance, the hand on Uso's shoulder, was evidence of a leader becoming more and more impressed by his followers' willingness to embrace his ways. A great way to cap off a mostly good show in the latest chapter in one of the company's best stories in years. 3 1/4, 3.5 stars, probably second best fight of the night here. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Jey Uso, spiraling more and more out of control.
Oh yeah, you could definitely say that. I'll say 3 1/4 stars for me. I mean, a solid match here. I mean, yeah, I mean, these two could do was definitely one that I definitely enjoyed, and yeah, with Jey Uso, I mean, seems like he's really starting to follow the lead more of the tribal chief, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So, Dee Dee, what's in it yours?
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. Yeah, Jay's definitely going the route uh, that was assigned to him, which is, being the follower to Roman, who now is the head of the family. So yeah, I mean he's doing what he's told, being a good little boy, I guess you can say, for this. So yeah, match was it was good, main event. So yeah, I'm not gonna add too much more. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this was a solid main event. I'll go 2.5 to 3. I really got nothing more to add. All right, guys. Overall review time, very quickly. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, it was a fine show, but what really, I mean, you had some good matches here, but what really took away from the show was just too much interference with some of the other matches that we saw. I mean, yeah, I mean, SmackDown looks like it's starting to come together for Survivor Series, so it's going to be interesting to see as we continue to head towards Survivor Series. So there's really nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can probably agree with the rating, the 6 out of 10. But there's just too much BS in this show. I mean, yes, SmackDown's notorious storyline building. They did a great job with that, but just too much crap. You don't need all these people coming out to the ring that has no business being out there. You don't need all these people coming out there interrupting matches and costing people their match. Let it go. You can have a clean finish and still have a good match, or you can have a finish where you have it cheap like this. I mean, for if this was written a little bit better, then maybe I wouldn't be boohooing on so much on all the interference. But the way this was written, there just was no point in having them out there. I mean, there's just no point in Murphy and Aaliyah coming out, or Seth coming out, or any of it. I mean, it was just stupid. It was a booking that didn't need to happen for that particular part of the show. I mean, yeah, you want to build on that storyline, but you don't need to build on it at the cost of a match that a lot of people are enjoying and a lot of people are looking forward to seeing, so that you can build up your pay per view. Because that kind of took away a little bit from the pay per view, because you did all this with the freaking match. So yeah, I'm not going to add anything else. So I will see you guys Monday. Good night, guys.
All right, thank you, Dee Dee, as always. And I'll agree. 6.5 out of 10. I think should have been. Um, it should have been a lot more better, but it is what it is. So, I get it. But I will say this: the momentum is still strong with SmackDown because of the fact that I really felt like this was a no nonsense show. Now, yes, I get it. But there wasn't no campy comedy. There was no bull funky. There was no gobbledygook. There was no stupid nonsense. It was all storyline driven. Everything about tonight was storyline driven. I get it. A lot of people are not happy with the Mysterio Rollins Murphy thing, but fine. It was there. Tucker and Otis, it was there. We had everything that you wanted in SmackDown. This was a compelling 2 hours of wrestling tonight on Fox. They did very well. I kind of understand where they're coming from, but of all the we always slam WWE for bull funky nonsense, gobbledygook, whatever you want to call it, campy comedy. There was none of that tonight. So for me, yes, it was 6.5, but this is a good 6.5. Other than other times. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, 6.5 for me as well. Sasha and Bailey stole the show, but then again, what else do you expect? Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, solid match. The Mysterio Corbin was even halfway decent, even with all the nonsense there. And you're right, there was no campy comedy BS like we see on Monday Night Raw with that ridiculous 24/7 championship. Speaking of things that are at the point of go away, that's beyond the point of go away. So get the what out of here with that weak sauce. So but nonetheless, though, MF, you're right. I mean, SmackDown's a more serious show than Raw is, so you're right. So 6.5, good build for Survivor Series. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's get into AEW Full Gear going down tomorrow night.
All right, guys. So just give me a moment so that I can get my notes on this because it is going to be a big one. AEW Full Gear going down tomorrow night, and guys, it's going to be once again, as always, from the Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. We got 8 official matches on the card. There is a 9th match. We'll talk about the pre-show fight briefly, but it is for the NWA Women's World Title as Serena Deeb will put the title on the line against Allison Kay. Anthony, we know who Allison Kay is.
Sienna.
Boy, that's Sienna, folks. Yup. So
Wrestling.
Just give me a quick thought on that one. Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay tomorrow night.
Showcasing of the NWA Women's World Championship on AEW television continues. Deeb, an AEW contracted talent, recently won the title from Thunder Rosa and has already made a successful defense on an episode of Dynamite against Leela Hirsch. She'll face a formidable foe here in the talented Allison Kay, formerly Sienna from Impact Wrestling, former Knockouts champion in her own right, but no reason to dethrone Deeb just yet. Winner and still the NWA Women's World Champion, it is Serena Deeb. So, Michael Bullock, do you concur with that?
Yeah, I concur with that. I got Serena Deeb retaining the title, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's move on.
All right, so let's get into the fight card itself. First off, we have is Orange Cassidy going one-on-one with John Silver. I don't know how this match even happened. I don't know why they made this match. I'm just gonna say it right now. Orange Cassidy wins. He's my boy. Freshly squeezed is gonna get a victory here. Anthony, it's yours.
John Silver is a great hand, and it's nice to see him get featured spots on TV, but Orange Cassidy is the star here, and this is his match to lose. Orange Cassidy wins. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, Orange Cassidy wins, no doubt about it. And let's just say this victory will be freshly squeezed. Fletch, it's yours.
All right, next up we have is a one-on-one match. Chris Jericho versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. If MJF loses the match, if MJF wins the match, then he is allowed to join the Inner Circle. Anthony Florio, does MJF join Inner Circle, or will Le Champion once again rise to the occasion? Who you got?
I think we're going to see a new member. I think we are. MJF will be allowed to join the Inner Circle with a victory. And as with other stipulations on this card, that sets up the expected direction for the match. The story of MJF gaining access to Jericho's group by beating him sets up such good interaction moving forward that it's hard to imagine that not being the direction AEW goes. So I got to go with MJF to win. Of course, the best part of this whole build, obviously, Le Dinner Debonair and that awesome song they did, which, I'm still going gaga and nuts over. So really nothing more to say on this. MJF wins. So Michael Bullock, I don't know about you, but I think MJF's going to find a way to win this thing, and he's going to get to join the Inner Circle.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I mean, I'm pretty sure MJF is going to find a way to win this match. I don't know how he'll do it, but I think he's going to be joining the inner circle with Le Champion and the rest of the group. Even though we already know that Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz don't trust him, but as Bautista would say, you're going to have to get used to it. So nothing more to say. I got MJF winning and him joining the inner circle. Fletch, it's yours.
MJF wins. I'm not even gonna waste any more time on this one. Next up, we had was Hikaru Shida putting the AEW Women's Title on the line against Nyla Rose, the former champion. So, Michael Bullock, does Nyla Rose get the belt back, or does Hikaru Shida remain the AEW Women's Champion?
Yeah, there really hasn't been that much of a build when it comes to this potential with this title rematch between Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. But to me, I mean, I gotta go with Hikaru Shida. I mean, I think she's been a good champion. I mean, losing it to Nyla Rose to me doesn't make any sense. I mean, especially since she already has held the title. So that's just how I feel. I mean, I got to go with Hikaru Shida to retain the to the women's title. So Fletch, I mean, do you agree, or are we going to see a new AEW Women's World Champion?
No, I think it's Hikaru Shida. I think Shida's going to win. I think she'll keep the belt. Uh, Even though Nyla Rose has already had the taste of the title, I think Hikaru Shida will win it because I believe the next challenger would probably be Dr. Britt Baker because she's been getting a lot of wins lately and everything else. I kind of feel like they're grooming Britt to be the next challenger, and then I think at that point Sheeta drops the belt to Baker. So that's who I would think would be the next challenger for the AEW Women's title. So Sheeta's gonna win. She'll dismiss Nyla Rose, and then Baker will probably get her shot either maybe in January. I think because I don't think there's an event in December. Maybe January, February. That'll be the first AEW event of 2021, and I think at that point, Dr. Britt finally realizes her dream and becomes champion. So we'll wait and see what happens. So Anthony, it's all yours.
I have some doubts about this. I mean, I don't know why, but my gut is telling me to go with Nyla Rose here to win the title because AEW struggles with the women's division, show with falling back into old patterns. Um, I don't know. I mean, Sheeta's run should probably come to a close while letting the roster chase the new monster heel champion. There could be some good money in that, but but then again, I mean, with Sheeta going at possibly going into a possible title feud with Dr. Britt, which I think would probably be on a future Dynamite, considering the next pay per view might not be until after the new year. So I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to go with Hikaru Shida to win, but I would not at all be surprised if Nyla Rose regains the title here. I wouldn't. So I do have some doubts about this. It was this match and the Orange Cassidy John Silver match that, because of the match quality, that we got a bad feeling these two are going to be tossing. It's going to be a two-horse race with these two fights for worst fight of the night. But I think we got all the garbage action out of the way. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this card.
Well, there's one more match that's kind of I kind of say is garbage. Matt Hardy going
Oh,
one on one with Sammy Guevara.
oh,
So
okay, yeah.
yeah, so in an elite deletion match, I don't know what this is about. This is another one that just got thrown together out of nowhere. I'm gonna go with Matt Hardy. I think he's gonna win it. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, just quickly, please.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Matt Hardy as well. I mean, the all out match between these two was one of the low points of AEW's short time in existence. Hopefully, things work out better for both in this match, but it makes the most sense for Hardy to get the win for a cleaner wrap to their storyline. So, I'm also going to quickly go on the record and say I think it's going to be a cinematic fight. So,
All right.
for that. So, I'm going to go with Matt Hardy. So, Michael Bullock, unanimous. Bullock, are you there?
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, we might have.
Oh,
We
well.
might have. Who knows? So,
All right.
I'm sure he
So-
probably agrees.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have is Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT title. And Anthony, I believe it goes to you.
Yes, it does. And well, I think it's time for me to shake things up here. This is one of the tougher matches to call on the card. Allin versus Cody has been a solid rivalry over the past year, but Allin needs to win to uphold its status as a rivalry where the two are on even footing. But Cody has already lost the title once and quickly regained it. Does it make sense for him to drop the belt again? I think it's time to see AEW put a belt around a rising star who went big under their watch, finally giving him a win over the established star in the process. I'm going to shake things up here. Winner and new TNT champion, Darby Allin. I'm calling it. So I don't know what else there is to say. If Bullock is back, we'll get him in here. But if not, then we'll just give it to MF. So yeah, I don't know about Bullock coming back, but for right now, I'm just gonna give it to MF. I'm calling for a new champ, MF. I think Darby Allin's gonna pull the upset here, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. MF.
I'm gonna say it like this. I do believe we're gonna have. I kind of have to say Cody still. I don't know why. I just feel like Cody's gonna win the match. I really think there's really nothing more to add here. So I got Cody winning. Next up we have is the match that the winner gets a future AEW World Title match. Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega. Tough match to call. I gotta go with Kenny Omega. I think the cleaner is gonna win it. I think he's gonna be the next in line for the world title. His storyline is so good. I think he's acting like the cleaner. This is the guy that I remember back in the day. So Anthony, it's yours. I got Omega winning.
Yeah, it's going to be Kenny Omega. The winner of this tournament final match gets a future world title shot. Either man would be a solid challenger for Jon Moxley should he survive, which I think he will, but we'll get into that in a moment. But Adam Hangman Page feels like he needs another year before a title run, while Omega is a good choice for a big program with the champion. I mean, let's quickly say Moxley gets by Kingston and Omega wins this match. MF, can you imagine Moxley and Omega after what we saw last year at this time?
My God. And especially the cleaner. It's not just Kenny Omega. It's not just Kenny Omega. It's the cleaner Kenny Omega.
In Japan.
This is the Japan Kenny Omega. This is the... I mean, if we get that Omega versus Moxley, you think that fight last time around was nuts. This is going to be even worse.
I can't wait. It's Kenny Omega, no doubt about it, and I'm chuckling here because I'm just thinking about the awesomeness that would come if we should get Moxley and Omega one more time. I mean, do we even need to remind you about the barbed wire spot?
Oh God, no. You don't need to.
Omega.
All right. Co-main event of the evening. One of the biggest highly anticipated tag team matches in the history of the company. It's happening, guys. FTR puts the World Tag Team titles on the line against the Young Bucks. Side note here, if the Bucks lose, they will never get to challenge for the AEW World Tag Team titles again. And Tully Blanchard has been barred from ringside. So this is it. No excuses. We'll find out who the best tag team in the world is tomorrow night. Anthony Florio. This is it. You know, you always talk about the words main event and what it means. We talk so much that there's a debate right now of who's the best tag team in the world today. FTR or the Young Bucks. Tomorrow the debate gets settled once and for all. It's yours.
A key part of this story involves the Bucks being prevented from challenging for the tag titles again if they lose. AEW has already gone that route with Cody losing his world title match last year against Jericho under the same stipulation because of MJF. And I think it's hard to imagine the promotion doing the exact same thing with the Young Bucks. So because of the stipulation alone, expect a show stealer, fight of the night, 5-star drama classic, which will certainly be a match of the year candidate for sure. Winners and new AEW World Tag Team Champions, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. I think they're due. But then again, do we really want to take the belts off of FTR after only 2 months? After they won them at All Out in September against Omega and Hangman. So
That's true.
But it's only because of the stipulation. I'm going to go with the Bucks. But if FTR wins, I would not at all be surprised. So I'm taking a chance. I think the Bucks are doing that.
I think it's going to be the Bucks too. I think the Bucks will win it because of the stipulation. They kind of put the Hangman's noose on us. So there's really nothing more for us to add on that. But I will say this. Whatever the story may be down the line, we'll just have to go and we'll wait. That's going to be one hell of a match. It's going to be a fight of the night, no doubt about it. And then it leads us into the main event for the AEW World Title, as it will be Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. I Quit match. I got to go with Mox. I think Moxley will win it. I think he'll keep the title. Even though Eddie Kingston's had one hell of a storyline lately, but I'm pretty sure it will be Moxley. It's going to be Moxley Omega. And it would be too soon for Eddie Kingston to become champion. And really, a lot of people knows Eddie Kingston has never really had a big moment like this. So this is the first time there he's literally going to be possibly in the main event. Even though I think the Young Bucks versus FTR could be the main event. But I think this is a main event match anyway. So we'll see. But yeah. I think it will be Moxley winning and keeping the belt. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Only one time in AEW have I ever recalled the world title not being the main event. That was Double or Nothing when the Stadium Stampede match main evented that pay-per-view. So maybe it could happen here. I don't know. It's very possible. I mean, I know we would love to see it. But anyways, Eddie Kingston in a major pay-per-view main event is a dream come true for many wrestling fans. And this pairing in a match where you must force the other to quit is going to produce some stunning levels of brutality. That said, it's hard to imagine AEW putting the world title on Kingston, and it's a little easier for someone more on the heel side of things to lose a match by saying, I quit. I agree, MF. This awesome run by Jon Moxley continues on. So winner and still AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Jon Moxley, a la Justin Roberts. So there's nothing, and you know he's going to do it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I always get the goosebumps when he does it, man.
I do too.
That's my favorite. That's my, yeah, yep.
Better. I think this is even better than when he did it for Cena, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, man. Let's get into some rapid fire NFL, even though I'm going to try to throw some schematics at you.
All right. So we're going to do this week 9 of the National Football League. As always, you know, I'm gonna honor it. We did start with the game last night. It was the Green Bay Packers versus the San Francisco 49ers. Green Bay wins the game 34-17 on the behalf of Aaron Rodgers, who literally went nuts. 25 of 31 with 305 yards and 4 touchdowns in the game. One to Marquez Valdez Scantling. He got him twice. Then there was a one to Mercedes Lewis. And of course, Devontae Adams with a 36-yard bomber. That one was the one that kind of broke the game open and started the great success for Green Bay. So nothing more to add on that one. And let's get into it. First game of the week, the Denver Broncos goes up against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, a 4-point favorite going into this. I'm gonna say it. Ever since everything happened after the firing, Atlanta looks like they're starting to get their legs under them now. They're looking a lot more better. Julio Jones looks healthy. Calvin Ridley looks healthy. And Denver's had a little bit of some issues lately. A couple of guys, I think, is under the COVID watch again. I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons. I think, Atlanta got a big win last week over Carolina, knocking them off 25-17. So, I mean, Anthony, I'm going to give it to you because unfortunately with Denver, they barely got away with a big win over the Chargers, but Atlanta, it looks like maybe they've turned the corner here. I don't know. This is kind of a meh game, but it's on CBS, the mothership.
With the legendary Greg Gumbel, Rich Gannon, and Jay Feely on the call. They'll be on the call up for that one when the Broncos and the Falcons square off at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Denver leads the all-time series 8-6. Falcons have won the last two meetings, including the last one in Atlanta, 27-21, 8 years ago in 2012. Broncos have only won it. Have the Broncos last won in Atlanta back in 1997. That was a 29-21 final. So back in the Elway days. But anyways, yes, MF. This is one of our lower tier games this week, and not as good as the slate we had last week, but we do have some good ones. This unfortunately is not one of them. This is on the average side, but the Falcons secondary is improving thanks in part to a pass rush that has generated 20 of its 47 QB hits and 6 of its 13 sacks over the last 3 games, and Drew Lock completing an NFL worst 58% of his passes and has the 5th highest off-target percentage in the league. So I won't do much of the stats here because I know we agreed to rapid fire. So I'll cut out what I usually do. I'll only do the announcers, and MF can handle the spreads and all that. Atlanta is the FPI favorite, 62.7%. It's about 63% going with Atlanta. I'm going with Atlanta as well, MF. 31-21. Give me Atlanta over Denver.
All right. Very well. Next up we do have is your Buffalo Bills as they go up against the Seattle Seahawks. This one's going to be from Ralph Wilson Stadium, New Era Field at Ralph Wilson Stadium in Buffalo, on CBS, on Fox this time around. And yeah, Seattle, a 3-point favorite against the Bills. Buffalo last week beat the New England Patriots, barely beat the New England Patriots.
We got lucky.
Yeah, very lucky.
And
Atlanta, and as far as Seattle goes, they just pick up right where they left off, dismantling the 49ers 37-27. So, Anthony, a tough matchup for your Buffalo Bills as they go up against the Seattle Seahawks. Who you got, bro?
Yeah, Seattle and Buffalo, from Buffalo. It's actually known as Buffalo Bills Stadium now.
Yeah, Bills Stadium in Orchard Park. Yep.
Orchard Park. Yep. It will be on Fox. Chris Myers, Brock Heward, and Jennifer Hale will have the call. Seattle leads the all-time series 8-5. Seattle's won the last 2 meetings in this series. Last time Buffalo was the home team, it was in 2012, but that game was in Toronto. You remember when Buffalo had that brief deal to play at Skydome in Toronto, but Seattle kicked the door down, made themselves at home, 50-17 beatdown. Yikes! Buffalo last beat Seattle at home in 2008. That was a 34-10. But come on, man. Let's be realistic. I mean, as much as I want my team to win, and I do. Seattle is the slight FPI favorite, 55%. I'm going with Seattle to win. Final score 7 Seattle. So nothing more to say, MF. Let's move on to the next one.
I agree. I got
Move on to
Seattle
you.
win. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle as well. So I think Seattle is gonna win the game. Uh, but I gotta tell you, I think you have to go with them on this one as well. I think it will be Seattle as well. So really nothing more to add. We're gonna move right on along. Next game on the docket, the Baltimore Ravens goes up against the Indianapolis Colts. This one's from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the Baltimore Ravens are a 1-point favorite. Just a point. This is almost considered a pick 'em. However, I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think they're going to bounce back, even though they almost beat the Steelers last week. They came so close to beating Pittsburgh. That was a great game, as always. But I do believe that they'll bounce back and they'll get a win here. Of course, Indianapolis, well, they just romped over the Detroit Lions. But then again, who else hasn't? 41-21. Anthony, it's all yours, my friend. This is going to be one hell of a game on CBS.
And it's our game.
Yes, it is. It's our game of the week.
It's the Tony and Mikey special. And Iron Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn will have it on CBS. And Indianapolis leads the all-time series 8-4. However, the Ravens won the last meeting in 2017 in Baltimore, 23-16. Last meeting in Indy was 2014. Indy won that one, 20-13. The Baltimore Ravens have never won in Indianapolis. Let's keep that in mind. Baltimore has never won in Indy until now. I mean, Indy's been a great story. I have their defense on my fantasy team, and they have been really piling up the points, and I'm very appreciative of that. But Baltimore is the FPI favorite, 59.8%. That's right about 60% going with Baltimore. I'm going as well. I think it'll be close for 3 quarters, but then I think Baltimore will pull away in the 4th. Baltimore wins 34-23. Give me the Ravens to bounce back from that tough luck loss against Pittsburgh. And what a great game to welcome us back from all of our previous commitments in that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I agree. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, too. I think they'll get the job done. And you're absolutely right, Anthony. So next up, we have our next 1 o'clock game. The Houston Texans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is from TIAA Bank Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, everybody knows. Right next to Daly's place. It's adjacent from Daly's place in Jacksonville. Yep. That's the stadium. The game will be on CBS, and the Houston Texans are a touchdown favorite, 7 points, 7-point favorite. So Anthony, it's all yours.
Have they met before, MF? Is this their first meeting?
I believe this is their first time. No, actually, they did face off earlier in the year. It was actually a couple of weeks ago. It was back in Houston. And Houston won it 30-14. Yeah, it was actually back in week 5 when that game happened. So yeah, it was about a month ago. So they face off for the second time this year.
Yep, and because of that win, Houston now leads the all-time series 24-13. You can add to the Houston streak here. They've now won 5 meetings in a row with Jacksonville. Jacksonville hasn't beaten the Texans at home since 2017. That was a 45-7 beatdown. But Houston's won the last 2 years, including last year when they were in London. But by the way, Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta will have the call. This is our second Zonk game of the week. Any other week, this would have been the Zonk game of the week. But the Zonk game of the week that we have, well, you can imagine why this one actually got a pass. So, but nonetheless, let me see, Houston, Jacksonville. Let me find it here on my notes here. Houston, big FPI favorite, 68.8%. That's about 69% going with Houston. Jacksonville has a rookie quarterback starting, so it's going to be Houston. I'm going to go 24-13. Give me Houston in our number 2 Zonk game of the week.
All right, and I agree with that. I'm going to go with Houston as well. Really nothing more to add. So we go up. Next game on the docket, the Carolina Panthers goes to Arrowhead and has to take on the reigning, defending, undisputed National Football League Super Bowl world champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are a monster favorite. 10.5. Anthony, the game's on Fox. This is too easy for Kansas City, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, you want to talk about easy. Look what Patrick Mahomes alone did to the Jets a week ago. Oh my goodness. 416 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Got me 36 fantasy points, baby.
Yep.
But I still lost. Stunner. But nonetheless, well, bye weeks and injuries, that's what did it.
True.
But I'm working on it. But we play each other this week, and I'm already ahead of you thanks to Aaron Jones. Thanks to Aaron Jones' solid effort last night.
It's early.
Yeah. Yep. So, Carolina, Kansas City from Arrowhead. That'll be on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt, Daryl Moose Johnston, Pam Oliver. They will be on the call. Kansas City leads the all-time series 4-2. KC's won the last 2, including last year in Charlotte. 2016 in Charlotte, rather. That was their last meeting, 2017. Last meeting in Kansas City was 2012. KC won that one, 27-21. Carolina's only won in Kansas City once. That was back in 2004. 28-17 was the final there. And Kansas City, lock of the week here, 84%. Yes, 84% FPI favorite. But I think it's going to be a little closer than you think. Don't sleep on Carolina. Bridgewater's great. Samuel's been great. So I think they could give KC a game here. And I think McCaffrey might be back too. So because of that, I think KC will win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. 35-28, but I'm still going with KC, though. I think Mahomes is going to tear it up again. So nothing more to say. MF, moving on to a game that usually would be on Fox, but got cross-flexed over to us.
Yes, it did. It's going to be the Detroit Lions going up against the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be held at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The game is on CBS, and the Minnesota Vikings are a 4.5 point favorite. I'm gonna go with well, actually, no. You lead off, Anthony, on this one, right?
Yes.
All right. So
I believe I do.
Go ahead. It's all yours.
A divisional matchup. So the question is this their first or second?
I believe this is their first. Let me see.
I want to say it's their first too.
Yep, it's first.
Okay.
Because the last time they met was last year in December, and Minnesota won that game 20-7.
Yes. So, all right. So that would be Detroit and Minnesota. So this is their first meeting here. Detroit and Minnesota from Minneapolis on CBS. One of our favorites, the great Kevin Harlan. Kevin Harlan with Trent Green and the beautiful Melanie Collins. They will be there. Minnesota leads the all-time series. It's very one-sided. 76-39 with 2 ties. And Minnesota's won the last 5 meetings in a row against Detroit, including in Minnesota last year, 20-7, as MF mentioned. Detroit last won in Minnesota back in 2017. That was a 14-7 final in favor of Detroit. Minnesota is a solid FPI favorite here, 66.5% going with Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota. I think it might be a little closer, but I think Minnesota will get it done here. I'm going to go 28-20. Minnesota beats Detroit. I think Dalvin Cook's going to go off again like he did at Lambeau last week. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm gonna go with Minnesota as well. There's really nothing more to add, so let's just move on right along. Next up, we got is the Chicago Bears. They go to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. The game's going down at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. The game is on Fox, and the Tennessee Titans is a 6.5 point favorite. I got the Titans, even though this will be a major test. Chicago's defense versus the offense of the Titans. How are they going to handle the weapons? Corey Davis, A.J. Brown. How are they going to try to stop Derrick Henry? That's the key factor. But you got Khalil Mack, and you know how much of a disruptor he is. Is he going to get to Henry? How is it possible that he gets his hands on Ryan Tannehill? So we got to wait to see how that plays out. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I got the Titans winning it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Chicago at Tennessee from Nissan Stadium in Nashville over on Fox. The legendary Dick Stockton. God bless him. Still going after all these years. Awesome. The great Dick Stockton, along with Greg Jennings and another beautiful reporter there, Laura Oakman. This series is even. They're tied 6-6, 6 games apiece. Tennessee won the last meeting in 2016. That was in Chicago, 27-21. Last time they were in Nashville, that was 2012. Chicago romped them 51-20. Oh, my goodness. Tennessee has never beaten the Bears at home in Tennessee. Last time the Oilers beat the Bears at home, or Tennessee rather, you got to go back to their Houston Oiler days in the Astrodome. 1992. That's the last time this franchise beat the Bears at home. That was a 24-7 win back in 92 at the old Astrodome. But Tennessee, 62% FPI favorite. Close game, but I think Tennessee will eke it out. I'm going to say 21-17, Tennessee beats Chicago. So nothing more to say, MF. Let's move on to our final 1 o'clock game.
All right, and it will be the New York Football Giants versus the Washington Football Team. The game will be held at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. The game is on Fox, and the Washington Football Team is a 3-point favorite. And Anthony, these two teams faced off literally 3 weeks ago, and the Giants won the game by 1 point. It was a 20-19 affair. So this time around, how do you feel? Does the Giants go 2 in a row, or does Washington get a measure of revenge?
Oh boy, very tough here. But Giants and Redskins, Fox's Zonk game of the week. This is the Zonk game of the week over on Fox's end, hands down, from FedEx Field. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Shannon Spake, they will be on the call for that one. With the Giant win recently, they padded their sizable lead over Washington to 103-68. To 103-68 with 4 ties. And the Giants have now won 4 in a row against the Washington Football Team. And they've won the last 2 years in Washington, including a wild 41-35 overtime thriller last year. Washington last beat the Giants at home in 2017. That was a 20-10 final. Washington is the FPI favorite, 65.4%, about 65% going with Washington. And I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with Washington to win this one. My final score, 20-19. But MF, I mean, the Giants, though, I mean, they took the Bucks to the limit, but a controversial call robbed them. They probably should have won that game.
They probably should have won it, no doubt about it. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how we're going to say about this game. This could go either way. I kind of feel like Washington's better, though. I don't know why. I just feel like that way. So I'm going to go with the Washington Football Team for the upset. Let's start the late games. For one game only at 4:25, as it is the Las Vegas... 4:05. I'm sorry. 4:05. It is the Las Vegas Raiders going to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, a 1 point favorite. The game is on Fox, Crossflex. So this game is on Fox, and I gotta say, this is gonna be an interesting matchup. This is a tough game to call. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I really like what they've been doing lately. I like the body of work. I like what they've been bringing to the table. Justin Herbert's been a great addition for the team. Ever since he's gotten the start, he's never looked back. Done pretty well for himself. So I think the Chargers are gonna win here. So give me the LA Chargers to knock off the Raiders. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Is this their first meeting or second meeting? This is a divisional game.
I believe this is their first. This is their first.
I thought so. All right. Vegas Raiders, LA Chargers, the beautiful new SoFi Stadium in Inglewood over on Fox at 4:05. Joe Davis, Mark Schlereth will have the call, and the Raiders lead the all-time series 64-54 with 2 ties, and the Raiders won both games last year, so they won in LA 24-17 last year. Chargers last beat them at home the year before, 2018. That was 26-10. So Vegas is a slight FPI favorite, 53.9%, right around 54% going with Vegas. I mean, I want to go with the Chargers, I really do, but they just keep losing. They just can't slam the door. They can't. I mean, I think they might have gotten one last week, but then again, they were playing Jacksonville, so that's why they won. But until they can beat, a halfway decent team and not blow it at the end, until that, I'm not convinced. This is going to have to be a disagreement here, MF. I'm going to have to go with Vegas to win this one. I'm going to say 23-21. I think the Chargers are going to get their hearts ripped out again. Sorry.
Oof. Ooh. All right.
I hope I'm wrong, though. I'm wrong, though, because I love Herbert. I really do. That gets fun to watch.
All right. Here we go. So now we got the 2 4-25 games. The first one we got, the Miami Dolphins.
Number 2 game of the week.
Yes, the number 2 game of the week. The Miami
Dolphins.
Wow. The Miami Dolphins coming off of a big win last week over the Los Angeles Rams. Now has to go to Glendale, Arizona at the University of State Farm Stadium. I guess they renamed it. It used to be known as University of Phoenix Stadium. Now it's State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona, and they got to take on the 5-2 Arizona Cardinals. The Miami Dolphins are a 4.5-point underdog. The Cardinals are the favorites by 4.5. The game 4:25 kickoff on CBS. Anthony Florio, It is yours.
Can you believe this game is our number 2 game of the week?
No.
I mean, well, we go by records, and by the records, if not for Baltimore and Indy, this would have been the game of the week. How awesome could that have been for us? But it's been forever and a day since we've called the Dolphin game, but so close yet so far away. Almost there.
It was so close, but so far.
But hey, Baltimore and Indy will take it. But anywho, Miami and Arizona, State Farm Stadium, formerly University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Andrew Catalan, James Lofton, Michael Grady will be on the call. Miami. Well, here's a slight encouragement, MF. Miami leads the all-time series 9-3. As a matter of fact, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did you know, MF, that the Dolphins won the first 8 meetings in a row against Arizona all time?
Wow.
First 8 times they played, it was all Miami from 1972, ranging from 1972 to 1999. It was all Miami all the time. But then Arizona won 3 in a row in 04, 08, and 12. But Miami won the last meeting in 2016. That was in Miami, 26-23. Arizona won the last meeting in Arizona, 2012. That was a 24-21 overtime win. Miami has not won in Arizona since 1996, and that was a 38-10 beatdown. back in the Marino days. But nonetheless, though, now I gotta discourage MF. I'm sorry to say, Arizona is the FPI favorite, 69.7%, just about 70% going with Arizona here, and I think Arizona will win this game. High scoring game, close game. This game's going to be a lot better than you think. 31-24. I think Miami's going to give them a game, but I'm sorry, MF. I think Arizona's slightly better than your Dolphins are. But then again, the Dolphins have actually done very well against the NFC, the best division in football. I mean, they took Seattle to the limit, but they lost. But then they blew out the 49ers, and they beat a damn good Ram team thanks to Tua. So maybe you have hope yet, MF. We'll see. But I'm going with Zona, 31-24, behind Kyler Murray and my number one fantasy receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. So nothing more to say, MF. I mean, how do you feel about it? I mean, how do you feel going into this one? It's another tough one for you guys.
It is. Look, I think the thing that is, as long as our defense steps up like they did against the Rams last week, that's our best hope, because unfortunately we're banged up on the offensive side. I mean, we've lost Myles Gaskins. He's not playing. Matt Breida's not playing. He got hurt. We lost Lynn Bowden Jr. to COVID. So, I mean, we're depleted offensively. We're in real bad shape on the offensive side of the football. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Tua to really deliver. And our defense is really going to have to step up. You know, we went up against the Rams last week, and we handled them pretty good. Now we got another explosive offense with the Cardinals. So, I mean, honestly, if this was in Miami, I love my chances, but we're going to their house. Not as confident. I think the winning streak will come to an end. We've won 3 in a row. I think this will be our first loss. I think Miami will fall a little short. I hope we win. But I got to be professional about it. So I got Miami losing. I got the Cardinals winning. So we'll move right along to the other game, which normally, whenever you hear these two teams, you're thinking, wow, this is going to be a great matchup. Not so much this time around. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, goes up against the 2-6 Dallas Cowboys from Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, and the Pittsburgh Steelers got the lock of the week. 14.5-point favorites over Dallas. The game is on CBS. Anthony Florio. Oy.
If I recall correctly, you remember back in May when we did our schedule show, our big schedule release special?
Yes.
Didn't I believe we had this as one of the game. I think we had this going in. I think on paper when this came out, we had this as we penciled this in as our game of the week.
Yes, we did.
This really should have been our game. Honestly.
This really should have been our game.
But nah.
Nope.
No. Dak Prescott with that freak injury. Andy Dalton has a concussion. DiNucci is garbage, according to Derek Ferreira. But, oh, man. But Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys, AT&T Stadium, Jerry World in Dallas. And I think it's only because of the history and the lineage of this game that, hello, friends, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson are going to be calling this game. Pittsburgh opening up as a 78% FPI favorite. Series history, Dallas leads the all-time series 16-13. Dallas has won the last 2 meetings. Both were nail-biters. Both were 5-star classics. Their last meeting was 2016 in Pittsburgh. Dallas won 35-30. Last meeting in Dallas, 2012. Dallas won 27-24. Pittsburgh last won in Dallas in 2004 at the old Texas Stadium. That was a 24-20 final. Big Ben's first year. That's the team that went 15-1, but still lost to the Patriots. But Pittsburgh is a big FPI favorite. 78%. they're the biggest spread, but they're the second. They're number 2 on the FPI poll, only behind Kansas City. This should have been the 84%, really, but nonetheless, it's all Pittsburgh here. 37-17, Pittsburgh all over Dallas. Stay undefeated. So 72 Dolphins are going to have to wait at least one more week to pop that champagne, boys. Sorry. Move on.
Yeah. All right. I agree with that. Dallas winning as well. Really nothing more to add. Well, now we come to the Sunday night game of the week on
Big one.
NBC. You got nothing more to say, guys. It is the New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. We know it. This went down week 1, first game of the season. New Orleans won it 34-23. The game was the Fox game of the week. That was Buck and Aikman. We already know who calls this game. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, and it is the Buccaneers, 4.5-point favorites. I think Tampa wins. I think Tampa gets the job done. I think they'll find a way to get another victory. And this is a very crucial game for Tampa, because if they lose this one, if they let New Orleans back in it, oh boy. New Orleans needs this. Huh?
This is for sole possession of first in the NFC South.
It is. And here's the thing. New Orleans already has one win against them.
That is correct.
If they win this, that's essentially a 2-game swing. Because you got to think about it this way. Because if they end up with identical records at the end of the year, New Orleans wins because of the head-to-head. Exactly. So forget about divisional records. Forget about divisional records. If they win if they win this game, this is like essentially a 2-game lead for New Orleans if they win. But I think Tampa gets this one at home. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. You took everything there, MF. The legendary Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, they'll have it on NBC as always. With New Orleans' win on opening day, New Orleans pads their series lead over Tampa to 36-21 and have won 4 in a row against the Bucs, including they've won the last 2 years at Raymond James Stadium, including a 34-17 beatdown there last year. The Bucs last beat the Saints at home in 2017. That was a 31-24 final for the Bucs there. So Tampa Bay is the FPI favorite, 64.9%. That's right around 65% going with Tampa. I'm going with Tampa to win as well. 29-26. Give me Tampa over New Orleans and make that NFC South even more interesting. And now, MF, we go from one of the games of the week to the Zonk game of the week on our end. And I think I made the right call making this the Zonk. Am I right on this?
You practically made a very good, compelling argument. It is the New England Patriots going up against the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in New York. The game is on ESPN, Monday Night Football. You guys already know who the commentary is. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Louis Riddick. And the Patriots, 8.5-point favorites going into it. Anthony, you lead off.
And I believe this is their first meeting this year.
This is their first meeting as well, yes.
Yeah. And this has been a one-sided rivalry. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Louis Riddick, Lisa Salters, they will have the call of that one on Monday night in the Meadowlands. Thank God for Monday Night Raw. That's all I can say, because who would really want to sit through this except for diehard Patriot fans? But anyways, New England. New England leads the all-time series with the Jets, 65-53 with a tie. And this has been a one-sided rivalry. The Patriots have swept the season series each of the last 4 years. 8 in a row, the Patriots have beaten the Jets, including a 33-0 beatdown in the Meadowlands a year ago. The Jets haven't won. The Jets last won at home against the Pats in 2015. That was a 26-20 overtime win, but I think it's going to continue here. New England is the FPI favorite, 72.6%, just about 73% going with the Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots as well, 20-10. New England beats the Jets in our Zonk game of the week. So any other week, it would have been Houston and Jacksonville, but because the Jets are god awful and because New England has fallen off the cliff, so we have to go with this one, I think, for the Zonk. So 20-10, New England wins. MF, all I can say is thank God for Raw because I don't have to watch this garbage.
No, absolutely not. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm gonna go with. I gotta also agree with you on this one as well. I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well. I think they'll finally get a big win here. And guys, we're done. It took us an hour and a half, but we are done.
Not bad.
So yeah, not bad at all. So this is what's gonna happen on Monday night. We're gonna have Ridiculously Raw as always, hosted by Anthony Florio. We're gonna talk about Raw. He's got the Tony's take as always. And then Wednesday Night Mayhem, hosted by myself. We'll do a brief little recap on Full Gear. Then we'll do the AEW show, and we'll do NXT. Thursday, College Football Thursday. Friday is Cerebral Smack Talk. And then next week, and then 1 week from tomorrow, or 1 week from now, because we are in Saturday, we'll have another edition of NFL Saturday back in its
Back in
usual
our normal
time
slot.
and back in its normal slot. So
And
until
I'll be
then,
back.
and Anthony will be the host again. Yes. So with that said, thank you everybody for watching this. Appreciate if you do watch. If you saw all of this, you're awesome. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world, and more importantly, have a wonderful evening. So long for now, and we'll see you next week. Good night.